For me? Anyone? Perfect. Memorize it. Show the camera.
You got it.
You know, I can see it too. It doesn't matter. So here, we'll see it. Yeah, I can take a look. Ace of spades. I want you to see this as very fair as we can. We're going to take the ace of spades. I'll spin it around. And we're going to lose it right here in the middle. But before we do, push it all the way in so I can't cheat.
Dude.
Here, watch. If I just shake the deck, it's going to jump right to the bottom.
No!
No way!
So in today's action-packed, virgin-filled video, we're going to talk a little bit about ridiculous controls and why you don't need them. I've already talked about this many times on the channel, but it seems like this information isn't getting out to enough people. So what I encourage people to do is share videos like this. We're dealing with COVID-19. This is cardvid-19. I already feel the virginity seeping through my veins and excreting through my pores to prevent any female from ever wanting to be near me ever again. Let's take the example that I used to open up this video. From my understanding, this individual is using a back palm in the context of a card control. For those of you guys unaware of what a back palm is, it's a card manipulation move where you essentially hide the card behind your hand. I guess it's a novel way of doing a control in that you're doing a back palm in the context of a card control itself. Maybe the video was done to show specifically that it can be used in a control, even though it was obviously sort of a staged video. But it's a terrible fucking control. I'm gonna try my best to replicate the move, even though my back palm is shit. So this is gonna be the card we're gonna use, the 10 of hearts. And I'm just simply gonna put it here and spin it, and then put it in the middle of the deck. And then you're gonna push it in. You're gonna push it into the deck. And then now the card's on the bottom. Can anybody tell me why that would be better than something like this? Can anybody please enlighten me as to how a double undercut is worse than this movement to try to get a card controlled to a specific place in a deck? I would love to see your responses. Or even something like this. You ready? Look at this. What does it look like I'm doing? It looks like I'm mixing the deck, right? It looks like the cards are being shuffled. But guess what? That card's on top of the deck. And nobody in the planet would think, man, that looks crazy, like he's controlling a card. No, it looks like I'm mixing the deck. And I know right off the bat, a lot of people are gonna say, no, I'm just learning these controls to practice my sleight of hand. But it's fun to learn these things every once in a while. Dude, it takes the edge off. We're stressed enough as it is. So why not learn a little bit of a complicated sleight of hand move and then take the edge off from what's going on in the real world? Here's a news flash, buddy. You're gonna feel uncomfortable. Learn how to deal with it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are hundreds of other more ridiculous controls that I've seen on Instagram. More specifically, this one too. This one, I can't do it, but this is what it feels like, it looks like to me, where you're doing this. Hey, that's your card? Perfect, go ahead, square it up. Square it up. Now it's on top. Whatever happened to the practical stuff, huh? Whatever happened to the good old practical stuff that we could do that doesn't necessarily call too much attention on itself and isn't just a dick measuring contest for magicians? Something that's replicating an action that you would normally do in the real world if you were handed a deck of cards and you weren't an actual magician. Something that makes sense. Something that makes sense, right? You're gonna mix a deck, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna riffle shuffle that deck, right? You're gonna overhand shuffle that deck, right? You're gonna do these things because this is what normal people do. Magicians have tricked themselves into thinking that their shit doesn't smell. But guess what? Your shit smells just the same as everybody else. As a matter of fact, I'll make the argument that your shit smells worse than everybody else because you're eating an elongated diet of Cheetos, of Mountain Dew, of Doritos. You put in those Nabisco snacks in there, you put it in the blender, you drink it. Now, there is a repository online for very practical and easy to do controls that pretty much could be taught to absolutely anybody from a beginner's perspective all the way to expert level tuition, and that's a Pigcake Magic Academy. $5 a month gets you 2 videos every single week going over card stuff, coin stuff, everything you want is there. I think over 600 videos are actually there on the Pigcake patron experience, for lack of a better term, including the piggybacker videos, the Mentalism Academy, and the regular old card and coin academies. $5 a month. That's not even a White Claw. I keep saying that's not even a White Claw, and I keep getting reminded every time I go to the gas station and I try to get my favorite mango White Claw, and the guy goes, That's going to be 522. And I say, man, that's more than the Pigcake Magic Academy. The tutorials start very easily. They start on how to even hold a deck of cards, different grips, terminologies, all the way to more complicated yet practical controls. Yes, sometimes I'll go over the rare, impractical control just for the sake and proof of concept. But you know what? Rave reviews all around. Help yourself and then help me out too. That's the way we do things here in planet Earth. So next time you see a control in the world of magic, I just want you to use your head. Use the noodle dance that you were taught by watching Disney shows with PB&J Otter. I want you to use your head. Is that something that's gonna work for me? Yes. Is that something that I could actually physically do? Yes. Is that something that would work if I have, I don't know, more than 2 people watching me? Some of these controls are so ridiculous that you can't even have a person watching you. You need to have half a person watching you. You pretty much need to have a nub of an individual in front of you, and this person can't have the right side of his cornea because he might see something fidgety going on behind a deck. So do and learn controls that are practical for everyday use, that would work for an environment that is conducive of performance. Imagine you're performing for 20 people at a time and they're surrounding you. You have kids underneath you. What controls are you gonna do? I don't know, a good old Mahatma control, a good old riffle shuffle control, right? If you want to bust out a pass and rip one out just to show off to the magician, do it, because it's still a practical control, and definitely more practical than a back palm flip switch move. Even a tilt is a very convincing and practical control that makes it seem like that card's going in the middle of the deck. Really, it's going under your own very easy control without having to grow an extra extremity. Thinking about all these ridiculous controls and the magicians praising them has made me resort to cardistry to try to quell my anxiety, and that's unacceptable. So if you get anything from this video, is just use your head, think about practicality. Don't go and fall prey to these ridiculous controls and think, man, if I learn this, this is gonna be what's gonna get me inside of that dome, you know what I mean? It's gonna get me that head from a significant other. Think about practicality. Think about what it is that you're actually doing and what you're trying to replicate to an actual lay person. You're trying to give the impression that you're actually mixing a deck, or that you're losing a card in the middle of an actual deck and you have no control over it whatsoever. If you start to turn your body and you have to insert the card in a certain way in order to do it, that's impractical. That's what we call in this planet impractical. So use your head. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure, as always, to do everything that people do when it comes to videos. I'm gonna go. Like this wide angle camera. Doesn't have autofocus, but it's still fairly wide and has a nice field of view here, even though I really don't have anything on this wall. And most of the time I'm ending up covering the backdrop anyways. That's the part that I find a little bit on the stupid side. I'm mostly stood like this, which covers this little setup that I have here of Pigcake historical artifacts. Whoa.